up before that happened.
This is the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good morning, Tuscaloosa. Good morning, Tuscaloosa, Internet World, West Alabama. How we doing today on a Wednesday? Happy Hump Day. It's the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com. Hope you and yours are doing well. We're going to have a great day in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios. We're broadcasting on the BamaCentral YouTube channel, BamaCentral Facebook page. Most of you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, Red Circle. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can find the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral. We're proudly presented by Purple Turtle Roofing. Call Purple Turtle Roofing at 877-787-6635 today to set up a free roof inspection, or visit them online at roofturtle.com. They'll come out, check out your roof, make sure that you're good to go and that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. Look, you deserve peace of mind in your home. So check out Purple Turtle Roofing at roofturtle.com. We're going to have a lot of fun today with our friend Theo Fernandez. You can follow him on the Twitter machine at Theo Fernandez _, covering a lot of Alabama athletics for us at BamaCentral.com, but specifically baseball. So we'll start with some baseball as Alabama went down to Hattiesburg and took one on the chin. We'll start with that today. We will move into Alabama basketball against Mississippi State, and then maybe we'll hit some comments from the Ohio State athletic director who seems like the Alabama-Ohio State series is on and popping still, despite what a lot of people in the national media have been kind of insinuating over the last couple of weeks. So we'll talk about those three things today, and you can jump in and join us on the comment section at Joe Gaither6 at Bama Central. You can leave us a voicemail at 205-462-7340. extension 800, or you can be a part of us in the YouTube comments. So we're going to have a lot of fun. Sounds like a plan. Theo Fernandez, good morning. How we doing today, sir?
Good morning, Joe. I'm doing great. Alabama baseball goes into Hattiesburg, gets embarrassed last night. First game I covered remotely this year, was not able to make the trip down to Pete Taylor Park, which it's a great place to go. So a little unfortunate that I wasn't able to make it over there, but not a great day for Alabama baseball.
Did I see 14-4?
You certainly did. Alabama gives up 2 grand slams in the first 4 innings of the game.
Oh,
the bats completely die after the 4th inning. Alabama goes hitless over the final 5 frames offensively. Just
so who started on the mound for Alabama last night?
So it's JT Blackwood starting. He was coming off a really good outing a week before in Sanford, where he went 6 scoreless innings, giving up just 2 hits, and that was never going to be the result against Southern Miss. The Golden Eagles are into the top 15 of most major polls. They one of the analytics, the advanced metrics that one of the guys created, has them as the number 1 team in the nation.
Southern Miss?
Yes.
Well, okay. All right.
They are a good team. They are a very good team.
Okay.
By every possible metric, every way we analyze squads, they are elite this year.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a little good, adding helpful context. But what happened to Blackwood? Was he just wild all over the place, or just serving up some meatballs, or he couldn't get some outs? What was the deal? Bad defense? So how did Southern Miss jump on Alabama so quickly?
Yeah. So I mean, looking in the beginning, so like Justin Osterhaus missed a ball in left field.
No,
that helped get a guy on. You look at the play, like he's tracking it. Oh man, he missed with your glove. That ball drops. That becomes a double. That leads to a run. And then it was a line drive hit just over the glove of Brennan Holt, who could not make the jumping catch. And you know how fast stuff like that can spiral in a game of baseball, right? We go from potentially getting out of an inning to, man, they've loaded the thing up, and now Blackwood's in his head a little bit. And, his command wasn't great. Wasn't horrible. It was mostly just really good hitting from a really good Golden Eagles team, at least on the first Grand Slam. And yeah, Alabama comes out, it was a midweek game. It was clear that it was a midweek game from the very beginning, with Alabama getting an unearned run in the first. Justin LeBron gets on because of a throwing error. Alabama scores 2 in the top of the first, and then all of a sudden you're down 5-2, right? And then we go to the fourth inning, and Alabama gets 2 runs back. Luke Vaughn hits a 2-run blast. So you're down 1 run. You've made some mistakes already, but you're right in it. And then everything just implodes with a 7-run bottom of the fourth for Southern Miss. Connor Lehman was in. Blackwood only went 2 innings. Connor Lehman comes in, walks the first 2 batters in the fourth after a scoreless third. And then Evan Steckmesser, the Samford transfers, looked really good this year, comes in, gives up 5 runs, recording just 1 out, gives up a second grand slam in the fourth. And it was a rough day. It was a rough day for the pitching unit. Just kind of an implosion. Alabama would go on to, they stranded 9 runners over the course of the game. They would not get a hit over the final, from the 5th through the 8th inning. They didn't get a hit, but they still managed to strand 6 batters. You got guys on base, couldn't do anything, didn't have a pulse offensively. Just not your day.
All right, so you just chalk it up to running into a buzzsaw down in Mississippi, but you try to move on. I mean, it's early season. Don't want to overreact too badly to any one result, especially a midweek result against a really, really good team
on the road.
So you're going out to Texas this coming weekend. Just kind of put us a temperature on this team, because it seems like, okay, you lost the opening game and then you smacked a bunch of inferior opponents, and you're sitting here at 7-2 on the season. Now you're going out to Frisco, Texas. You got Iowa, Oregon State, Houston coming up. So 3 Power 4 programs type teams. What's the temperature of this team? How are you feeling about them 2 almost 3 weeks in?
Yeah, we're still waiting to find out the pitching matchups for this weekend and how teams order things around. So Iowa should be a win, no matter who's pitching for Alabama. Houston showed a lot of flashes. Houston wasn't expected to be anything this year. They showed a lot of flashes week 1. Went down to Rio Grande Valley and lost the series there this weekend, which that's a good mid-major, but it's, disappointing result for the Cougars. And then Oregon State is an elite baseball team. They are, I would say, right around the top 15 in most polls, and they have their ace is just an unreal pitcher. So they have an ace that they could choose to play against Alabama. Alabama, generally regarded as the second best team in this Frisco Classic. So it makes sense that they would want to throw this guy against Bama. That's a game that is going to be exceedingly difficult to win if they are throwing him. Even if they aren't, even if they're just throwing their number 2, who I'm not super familiar with, it'll be a tough game. If you go 2-1 with a loss to Oregon State, you're walking out of Frisco pretty happy.
Okay. All right. So my non-college baseball fan perspective is, they're operating at about a B right now. They've still got a lot of room to grow and improve through the early part of the year, but not bad. A B.
Yeah, operating at a B I'd agree with that.
Okay. All right. So we'll see what they do over the weekend as they travel out to Texas and take on 3 marquee teams, but a pretty disappointing Tuesday night down at Pete Taylor Park for the Crimson Tide. Well, let's get into tonight, because Alabama takes on Mississippi State at 8 o'clock in Coleman Coliseum. And first things first, Nate Oates has been pretty adamant, or he's been pretty obvious through this part of the week, talking to the fan base, saying that we need you to be in Coleman Coliseum. I know the student section kind of jumped off the bandwagon with the Tennessee loss, but now there's been 6 or 7 wins in a row now for the Crimson Tide, and you are ranked again, and you're in second place in the SEC standings. You're right there as the season is closing in a pretty strong position. So 2 more home games, and Nate Oates on Monday night on Hey Coach, and then yesterday at his press conference was, we need a big crowd. We need a good crowd from the students. There's no excuse from everybody else with the 8 o'clock tip. We got to get everybody in here. So pretty He's smashing the crowd support button with 2 more home games remaining. You should be beating Mississippi State pretty handily tonight. Alabama is a 14.5-point favorite against the Bulldogs, and Alabama ended up beating Mississippi State pretty handily in Starkville about 40 days ago. You were down 14, 15 points in the first half to them, and then it went on a humongous run, shorthanded as well. So really shouldn't be much drama tonight, Theo, right? Alabama takes care of business in a big way, beating Mississippi State.
Yeah, you use the right word with drama, because it would be drama if you have anything less than a blowout win, right? You look at this Mississippi State team who, last Wednesday you go in and you beat Auburn, and Hubbard has the 46-point game. And then they drop a game to South Carolina. This is not a good basketball team. And one of the things that I wanted to ask Nate Oates about it, but then I strolled into the press conference a minute late because I was late from class yesterday, so I would have felt weird, asking a question.
And they were right on time yesterday.
Yeah, no, I walk in at 12:32 and they've already started. I'm like, this is my luck right here. But I wanted to ask, when you look at LeBaron Philon with these elite guard matchups, what Nate Oates said after the Arkansas game, right after Darius Acuff scored the 49 points, was we tell LeBaron that when you're in these big guard matchups, it's not about outscoring the guy. It's not about outplaying the guy. It's about making the winning plays. And Oates credited Philon for his lack of turnovers. He credited Philon for having more assists than Acuff did. So I kind of wanted to ask him, okay, what do you think LeBaron learned from that matchup with Acuff? And do we still apply that same mentality when we're looking at a team that is basically one player, right? Arkansas obviously had so much talent outside of Acuff. Mississippi State, Hubbard is the team. The only shot that this Bulldogs team has at winning the game.
He's got to go for what's the number, 45?
40, I'd say minimum. Yeah, it almost feels like it's 45. I'd say he scores 40, you give him a shot.
He scored 46 against the Auburn Tigers and won.
No, and it's going to take that kind of superhuman effort. So I wonder, what do you do with this guy? And what is LeBaron's role in the matchup, right? Because I think if you're Alabama, you want to avoid this all-out, just head-to-head show, right? You want to make it about the whole team, and you want to let your guys, your better roster shine through, right? And not make it about one individual guard.
I think that's exactly right. In about a month ago, Josh Hubbard scored 23 points, 23 points off 3 of 6 from the field. He was 3 of 10 from beyond the arc, so not very efficient right there. 8 from 10 from the free throw line, so did get to the free throw line pretty well. 3 rebounds and 3 assists in their 97-82 loss. That's 15 points, right? So scored pretty well, not very efficient, and Mississippi State ended up losing. But your point on LeBaron is exactly right. My only concern, let's ask, are you concerned because LeBaron pops up on the injury report last night, pops up as questionable? He's going to play, right? He's going to play.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. It's just a formality to put him on the injury report.
He's definitely not 100%. He absolutely is not. And I'm honestly, I forget if we talked about this yesterday, but I am a little surprised that I think we said on Monday, I was a little surprised that he played against LSU with him clearly being extremely inhibited and not being himself. That felt like a game to keep him out, right?
Sure.
He was really banged up from that Arkansas performance. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on. But I almost think that we're not going to see. I think this is the kind of game where you'd much rather Philon not play more than 25 minutes, right? Go in, do what you need to do, get out. So, yeah, I'm not really sure on where he's at. Putting a number on, is he 80%? Is he 90? I don't know where he is. It's not 100.
He's 84%.
84%. Excellent.
No, but I agree with you that he is a little bit banged up, but he pops up on the injury report last night and is listed as questionable. I would expect him to play tonight. I would expect him to play, but I would expect them to be a little more judicious with subbing him out of the game this evening. But to the matchup with him and Hubbard, I think you're exactly right. You take what you did with Darius Acuff, and you thought, well, head to head, he may have lost the matchup with Acuff scoring 49 points, and LeBaron was at like 33, 34.
35.
Right. So he put together a really nice day scoring as well, but Acuff is just a freak of nature and scored 49. Alabama wins, and I think that's all that LeBaron should be walking home with, thinking about going to bed with we won, despite I got outscored by 14 points by their star player. LeBaron has just so much control of this Alabama offense, and you saw it last Wednesday against Arkansas, where he was drawing fouls and getting into the lane and getting to the free throw line and distributing well. You already mentioned out assisting Darius Acuff. So I think that you take last Wednesday and I mean, Josh Hubbard is a nice player, but he's not Darius Acuff Jr. And Josh Hubbard's a nice player, and Mississippi State has some talent, but they're not as loaded as Arkansas is. So it's just about the same thing as LeBaron. It's about protecting the basketball, initiating offense, and not turning it over. It's about taking good shots, not taking lazy, dribble, step back three-pointers. You got to get the ball into the paint, whether you're passing or dribbling. And so it's just about being efficient. Let Josh Hubbard shoot 50 shots if he wants to shoot 50 shots, if that's how it's going to be, because I think that he's a little bit of a volume shooter to where he needs more shots, and it takes Mississippi State out of their games a little bit. So I think it's going to be just fine. I think Alabama's going to roll tonight. I think the fan base will answer the call and will show up pretty largely. Really, the paying customer has been pretty good most of the year. It's been the students who have fallen off. So Theo, will you put out the spotlight? Will you light the signal? Whatever it is, will you sound the alarm on campus today to make sure that the student section is full?
I don't think the student section will be full.
What? An 8:00 game?
Yeah,
on a Wednesday?
I've seen this. Wednesday night game against a bad team. There's not enough to get people in the door. So
second to last game of the year.
It's
okay. That's your take. It's
maybe
okay.
It's the doomsday scenario here. Maybe I'm just too pessimistic about this student section, but I do not think we're going to get them. Like I don't think we're going to get the place packed out.
That is unfortunate to hear, but you never know. Really interesting last night as Missouri beat Tennessee, knocking them down basically by a game. So if Alabama wins this game, they're going to have a full 1-game lead on Tennessee on the standings, and so you're sitting there in the top 3 spot. Arkansas is playing Texas A&M, so that'll be mildly difficult for the Razorbacks, and Florida is taking on Texas, so they should smack Texas pretty good, and that should be your top 4 seeds, entering the Saturday game. Theo, what's the biggest thing you're going to be looking for tonight with the Alabama basketball team?
Well, I think I want to see Aiden Sherrill dominance, right? I think that we've been really singing his praises a lot over the past 2 weeks now, and rightfully so. He's had some phenomenal games. He's really doing what he needs to do as a basketball player. This is a game where if you want to keep that momentum rolling, right, and you look at the way you've been playing, and then you look at a matchup with Tennessee coming up in a couple days, this is a go out there and show everyone that you're a 6'10" former 4-star who can be a physically dominant basketball player. Like, this should be among his most just physically dominant basketball games that he's played in his career up until this point, right? Like, this is a matchup where they don't really have anyone who can handle you, right? They don't really have anyone who can hang with you physically. you should be going for, 16-12. That is a very realistic box score for Aiden Sherrill in this ballgame.
Aiden Sherrill against Mississippi State in their last matchup. Let me scroll. Yeah, right there. In their last matchup, he ended up with points. 22 points, and 5 rebounds. Sometimes KenPom's a little bit confusing to look at. 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist. He made 2 3-pointers, and then he was most impressive, 10 of 11 from the free throw line. That Mississippi State game really kicked off a run of play for him. He went 22, 21, now 6 and a loss, but 16, 13 and a loss, 8, 6, 15, 11, 26 and 12 in his last 4 games. 15, 11, 26 and 12. And then he has rebounded the heck out of the basketball, 6, 6, 14 and 10 over the last 4 games. And Alabama really needs that to continue. I think that is, we said it. Did we say it on Monday, or did we say it last week before I left? That I think Aiden Sherrill is the biggest key to this basketball team the rest of the year. And I think that you've got to play without fouling and leave Noah Williamson on the bench. Let Taylor Bowen play the small ball 5 in the moments where you have to sit on the bench. And yeah, I think he's the biggest key to the Crimson Tide success. Did you notice one thing that stood out to me in the press conference yesterday? Because he was talking about extra time and extra reps. He was talking about Jaleel Bethea. And people were asking, how's he doing? Is he going to get more playing time? He got 20-something minutes against Mississippi State last time and ended up, 5.5 rebounds in those 20 minutes. And in his answer, Nate Oates' answer, talking about Jaleel Bethea, he was talking about getting more live reps and making good decisions and, practicing making decisions, pass, shoot, turn the ball, trying to protect the basketball and make solid decisions. And he said, he's been working off to the side. He's been working extra practice with Taylor Bowen, with Noah Williamson. He also said with Davion Hannah and with Keaton Bristow. And my ears perked up at the mention of both of those names because as you look at the injury report again today, Keaton Bristow and Davion Hannah are obviously listed as out, as they have been listed as out for 6 weeks now.
Yeah, I've lost
8 weeks now, something like that. Did it surprise you? Did your ears perk up? Did his comment, Nate Oates' comment, give you any sort of hope that Keaton Bristow specifically, Davion Hannah really secondarily, but that Alabama would get either of those guys back before the end of the year?
Yeah, it was just a shock to hear those guys' names in any context that gave us any new information, right? Yeah, appreciate Everett.
Great to see you today. I missed you. He left us 3 comments in a row. Best show around. More people need to tune in. I appreciate that. Everett, he said beat State. Absolutely. And then have a great show, guys. Roll Tide. Everett, we hope you have a great day, man. Thank you so much for always watching and always commenting. Go ahead. You're talking about Keaton Bristow and Taylor Bowen.
I think I had just kind of written off the possibility of them returning to the court. I would still absolutely lean that way, right? Like I would still, if you asked me to place a bet right now, will we see these guys the rest of the year? I would say no. But, it makes you think, okay, maybe they are actually working towards a return. Maybe it was something where Nate wanted to make it clear that, yes, okay, even though they're not playing, they are practicing, they are working towards something. I struggle to believe at all that we will see either of them on the court again this season.
Yeah, I'm largely in that camp. I was pretty much resigned to the fact that both those guys would be out for the rest of the year. And ideally, you keep Davion Hannah out of the transfer portal and develop him for another season. And same thing with Keaton Bristow. You brought him in. You thought he was going to be something. Let's keep him out of the transfer portal and develop him next season. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if either of those guys flirted with the transfer portal and was at a different place next year. It just was interesting to me to hear Coach Oates throw those names in there specifically, really because there wasn't any sort of update on, Keaton's practicing, he might be getting back to close, or Davion Hannah, his medical issue is getting cleared up. So I found it pretty interesting to throw both those names in there, but I also am not hopeful that either of those guys will be available at any point the rest of the year.
You remember how strongly we reacted to Keaton Bristow coming in and getting a bunch of rebounds non-conference. The van is great. Everett, thanks for a comment over there. I love references to that. But no, you look at Keaton Bristow's season, it doesn't feel like he's even a part of this basketball team, right? With how much has changed since the last time we've seen him on the court. And you go through all the Bediako stuff and you see Sherelle develop so much. But at the end of the day, this is a guy who, if he was on the court, could impact this team so strongly.
Physicality, right.
You need what he provides, right? First of all, you're ensuring that Noah Williamson does not come out onto the court. And then secondly, he does some very good stuff for you inside. He does some blue collar. Yeah, I'm going to get this guy boxed out. I'm going to allow Amari Allen to come in and grab this rebound, or I'm going to grab it myself. Even when he's not grabbing the rebounds, he is as good at boxing out as anyone on the team, and it would make a huge impact. I just do not think this is going to happen at this stage in the season.
I agree. But I did find it interesting they brought those names up yesterday. Oh, Theo, I'm about to sneeze. I don't know what it was, going north and then coming back south. My nose has been going. I'm not sick, but my nose has just been congested, congested out the wazoo. So let's go ahead and predict the game, and then we can talk about our football topic and get out of here. I think Alabama will. Let's see what KenPom has Alabama winning big. Let's see what it actually is. KenPom has Alabama winning 94-78 tonight in Coleman Coliseum. So we hope you're all in there at 8 o'clock tonight. You can follow all the coverage at BamaCentral.com. Hunter DeCiver. Oh, and speaking of Hunter DeCiver, happy birthday, Hunter DeCiver. He's going to join us tomorrow after he parties the night away, celebrating his birthday. He's going to talk about his Amari Allen feature and this Alabama basketball game. But KenPom has Alabama going 94-78 tonight. We'll be in Coleman Coliseum. I'll go even higher. I think that Alabama will get to 100 tonight. And I think they'll hold Mississippi State to 174. Wow. Big win.
Yeah, I don't know. After seeing the way this Alabama team has played in the South Carolina game, in the LSU game, I think I'm a little less optimistic on this team to blow out the Bulldogs. So I'm going to go a little closer. I think Alabama doesn't quite have the offensive day it wants. I got the Crimson Tide at, we'll say, 84-71 Alabama win in a game that kind of leaves a little bit to be desired. But, I mean, you get the job done. You earn another SEC win. You keep the win streak alive. I just don't know if I think Hubbard will have a solid day, but I just think overall we're going to have some clunky offense. We're going to see the effects of Phylon not quite being 100%. And it's just a game where Alabama wins. We don't really have many memorable things happen, and Mississippi State is never a real threat to win the ball game, but they hang around.
I think that's probably a better perspective because you've seen them go a couple of times now with
you've played down to the level of other teams.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Let's see. Is that what I want? Yeah, perfect. All right. Let's take our transition here, and we are going to talk about football here on the other side. We're going to talk about Alabama scheduling, this Ohio State game that we've been kind of talking about for the last couple of days, especially with the addition of the Georgia State matchup opening in 2028. So let's move to football real quick, and then we will get out of here for the day. We appreciate everybody watching us on the Bama Central YouTube channel, subscribing, rating, reviewing the program. The program is brought to you by Purple Turtle Roofing. At Purple Turtle Roofing, we're not just another contractor We're your neighbor and your advocate when it comes to protecting your home or business. With years of hands-on experience, top-tier certification, and a commitment to excellence, we've built a reputation as Alabama's go-to roofing solution. We specialize in residential roofing, commercial roofing, emergency storm repairs, full-on roof replacement, insurance claim support, and more. Check us out online at roofturtle.com or call 877-787-6635 for your free roof inspection today. You can see all their products and services and everything that they offer online at roofturtle.com. They can come out and give you a free roof inspection and give you the peace of mind that you deserve ahead of this spring storm season. All right, Theo, let's get out of here for the day. But first, we want to talk about Alabama and Ohio State because, 2 days ago, Alabama and Georgia State were announced to open the 2028 season, and that gave Alabama 4 non-conference games in 2028. Well, that doesn't quite fit the schedule because you have moved up to 9 SEC games, and so you got to eliminate one of these games. Theo, you said it right off the bat that Alabama would be getting rid of the Oklahoma State series, which seems to be the path that the Crimson Tide is going down. Reminder: 2028, you have scheduled Georgia State, Ohio State, UT Martin, and at Oklahoma State. So you got 2 Power 4 games and you have 2 bye games. Really, UT Martin is FCS and Georgia State is Group of 5, and so you've got 2 bye games right there. And you're looking at to kind of predict what's going on with the schedule. Well, with this Ohio State game being the second of the 2 games in 27 and 28, you automatically pick the Oklahoma State game, Oklahoma State series, because it starts in 2028. You have the first game at Oklahoma State in 28, and you're supposed to be coming back here in 2029 to take on the Cowboys in Bryant Stadium. But you look at the math, and it's not quite mathing. And then you have a little bit more tea leaves from Ross Bjork, the athletic director of Ohio State. He said recently, as of this week, I guess he was talking to Q&A at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. He was answering questions and said that there's no indication that Alabama wants to get out of anything, referring to this home-and-home series. Basically saying, look, you heard it 2 weeks ago, last week, a lot of people, Alabama's going to get out of the Ohio State game because they know that if they play the Ohio State game and lose, it's going to hurt their playoff chances, yada, 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 XYZ and ABC. Everybody's trying to take the Indiana path of scheduling 2 or 3 or 4 little sisters of the poor, and working through your conference schedule and trying to make the playoff that way. You've got Ross Bjork on a full answer right here. Do you want the game to be played, the series to be played? Was the question. And his answer, I love it. We should never be afraid to play anybody. And put this answer in Greg Bird's mouth right here. We should never be afraid to play anybody. We're Ohio State. People should probably be afraid to play us, right? Then you have to use the data. When we host these kinds of games, from a revenue and fan interest standpoint and attention to the program, the lift is monumental. For the Texas game, we were basically around 19 million in ticket sales. For a non-conference game against a Group of 5 opponent, we're at 7 to 9 million. It's more than double. It's huge. Those games mean so much from an attention, revenue, TV matchups, and then you test yourself. We tested ourselves against Texas, and we walked out of there with a win. It's like, okay, let's go now. We know what we have. To me, that was a great launching point because you won it. If you lose it, you're still in the game. Texas could have been in the playoff, but they had a bad loss. I don't know if there's enough data yet from the college football playoff standpoint to say that we should or shouldn't play those games.
That is a phenomenal answer. That is if I was an Ohio State fan and I'm listening to my AD go out and say something like that, like, I'm so fired up. I would be like, oh yeah, this is the best answer ever. You know, that is the mentality to have, especially as a power team, as a school that views yourself as a year in, year out, we should be winning a national title. That's how you respond to something like that. That's how you address these marquee matchups being played. It's an answer, right? You'd want to hear Greg Byrne say something like that.
Exactly, because I have just had my stomach turn over and over and over and over again. Every time these matchups get brought up and Alabama scheduling, and you lost the Florida State game last year, and everybody was talking about scheduling the rest of the year. Are they going to cancel the rest of these? Look, everybody, all the Alabama fan base looks themselves in the mirror. We're Alabama. Why should we be canceling anything?
Yeah.
We should be playing Southern Cal. We should be playing Ohio State. We should be playing. Look at the rest of these games on the schedule, in the future schedule. At Ohio State, at Oklahoma State, Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, Boston College, Arizona, Virginia Tech, Minnesota. These programs should be afraid to play Alabama, not Alabama afraid to play them. Well, what if we lose? What if we lose and we could have scheduled Little Sisters of the Poor and saved our playoff position? Are we not Alabama? Is it not a blue blood of college football? Yeah. Ohio State, Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas, Notre Dame, Southern Cal, Michigan, right? There's your 7 blue bloods. Like, those 7 teams should say, bring it on. Anytime, any place, anywhere. We'll play you in a parking lot. And look, Alabama is one of those programs. So this is exactly the right statement. They should be afraid to play us. We're not afraid to play anyone. And then you look at the money. Like, you're going to bring Georgia State in 2028 and Bryant-Denny Stadium. It'll probably be for the season opener, so it will be full. Yeah. But if it was like week 3, if it's week 3 at 11 a.m., week 3 at 2 p.m., like, you're probably getting 85% capacity, 80% capacity, and you're not charging the fans the premium price that you would be for when Ohio State comes in here and you're charging them $200 a ticket. Like, not only is it good for college football, as one of the premier brands in college football, you should be driving to continue to play these marquee games. Look, Texas lost to Iowa State, right? If they had beaten Florida, they still would have been in the playoff picture, especially they were in the picture. They were just outside looking in. But they probably would have been in the 12 if they had beaten Florida and then beating Texas A&M on the last week like they did, the top 2 team. They were at 15 or something like that, 16. They would have been in the 12. Yeah. Like, for Alabama, it's a very easy parallel. Alabama did go on the road and beat Georgia, top team. It mitigated the bad loss of Florida State. So if you had beaten Ohio State, you probably could have endured the loss to Florida. But you didn't. You didn't beat Ohio State, so you need to beat Florida. You need to beat the bad teams. And so, like, these marquee matchups, winning the marquee matchup, like beating Georgia last year and making the SEC championship game, but beating Georgia really specifically on the road was the big feather in the cap. Alabama, you're still in at 9, at 10. You're still in. I think these marquee games are only good for the sport and only good for the programs that play them, because you get tested, as Bjork said, and you have a really nice data point that carries you the rest of the year. That Texas-Ohio State game was 14-10? Was that right? I think I believe that's what it was. Maybe it's 14-7. 17. It was really close. Close and low scoring. But essentially, that game held in the minds of everyone the rest of the year. And look, if you don't lose to a bad Florida team, Texas, you're in the playoff. Like, and so from Alabama's standpoint, I am happy that Bjork gave no indication that he's not hurt, that his, from his perspective, he's not hearing anything from the Alabama side to cancel the game. I think, Theo, you're exactly right that Oklahoma State, that series is going to be canceled. And you look at it, you're playing Florida State this year in 2026. And then next year you start a new series at Ohio State and then home with Ohio State, 27 and 28. You cancel the Oklahoma State series. You roll right into, in 29, a series with Notre Dame. Yeah. Right. And so you book in 2029, and you basically book two Little Sisters of the Poor to go along with Notre Dame, and there's your non-conference schedule. You're in 2030. Notre Dame comes back here. You have the Georgia Tech series scheduled I don't think the Georgia Tech series is going to get canceled. I think it's going to get moved, bumped down the line. We'll start that series in 2031 and basically start bumping some of these Power Four series that are already on the book down the line to where you're playing one of these Power Four games per SEC rules, two Little Sisters of the Poor, and your conference schedule.
Yeah, I agree with. I think that is what it will be. First of all, let me just address something. And I've said numerous times that I believe we should still be playing a 14 playoff. I'm not a fan of the system we are under. And so I am certainly not going to sit here and feel any sympathy or empathize with a team trying to make moves to get into the playoff as the 11th of 12 teams. I'm certainly not going to sit around and say, oh, we really have to make sure we can get one of these top 12 spots. Are you kidding me? Like, if we're making moves to make sure we're the number 11 team, that's just a joke, man. It's not how a college football program should be operating. We shouldn't need to act out of fear. Like the Notre Dame with their whole, oh, if we're in the top 12, we're in the playoff thing. Like stuff like that. It's just ridiculous, man. So what I think is interesting, though, if we look at this schedule, 2030. So you talked about that Notre Dame series, right, ending in 2030, and the Georgia Tech series possibly just getting bumped. Well, you're booked to play Boston College in 2031 and 2034, right? You have you have an Arizona 2032, 33. You have a Minnesota series that runs that same year. You also have, like, 2032, you're playing Arizona at home, USF at home, Minnesota on the road. There's a 0.1% chance that those three games remain your three non-conference, because you've already bumped that USF game like 8 years into the future, right? You know, you're not going to go play a Big Ten opponent on the road and play a Big 12 team. We've got home and home with Virginia Tech. To me, that was bad. To me, I look at this series, right, and the way things are going and the way that college football is moving. I believe that all of these series into the future will not be played. I think Alabama is going to try to play one non-conference against another fellow superpower. Like, I think that the caliber of opponent will be really high because I think we're trying to shape up a world where the elites play the elites, right? And you're leaving, like, and even like semantically, yeah, it doesn't really make a ton of sense to go make a trip up to Boston College. I see the logic. Like, yeah, wouldn't we rather be playing Clemson? Wouldn't we rather go, yeah, sure, let's go play Miami if you want to make it an ACC. Let's go play in the big house, or let's go to Penn State. Makes a lot more sense than going to Boston College. I think when you were playing multiple Power Fours in a year, which I love the idea of, I think, yeah, that makes sense. Georgia Tech and Boston College as your two of your three non-conferences in a year. I would love that. I would love to play 11 P4s in a year. That would be fun. Think about all the unique, like, environments you get to go play in, right? Alabama's not going to head up to Minnesota in 2032. I would bet just about any amount of money on that. You know, the Virginia Tech series, maybe that has a chance at staying. But when you look at these series, like, I really do think that the strategy for the Alabamas, the Texases, the Ohio States will be to go and play another top 15 brand in the sport. And that will be the year in, year out. And we're going to play the same bunch of schools every, few years and try to really box out some of the smaller P4s.
That's interesting. I do think you're going to be pretty selective with which Power Four teams you're playing in the future, and I do think that You're going to play a lot of these teams that are already on the schedule, but I think it's going to be delayed. That's my opinion. Is that your series with Georgia Tech is going to be delayed by a couple of years. Your series with Arizona is probably going to be delayed by a year or two. I think that you're going to be really committed to playing one quality team and then two bye games, and then trying to manage your SEC schedule. Reminder, or just remember, a lot of the schedules were set during the time where you're playing 8 conference games, and as an adjustment to Coach Saban's desire to, Coach Saban would love to play those non-conference marquee games on neutral sites, but towards the latter ends of his tenure, he wanted to kind of move towards playing more marquee home and home matchups, and the Alabama's future schedule reflects that. So you've already got a lot of groundwork laid for the next basically 10 years. It'll be interesting to see how these football schedules work out. But I am with you, Theo, that you are going to play this Ohio State series. And sorry, Oklahoma State, you guys are going to get bought out, and or moved down the line,
which is insanely dumb. I did not agree with it at all. I want to make that clear. What is wrong with playing 11 Power 4 teams? Like, what is wrong with it?
Well, you're one game over in 2028.
Yeah, then
4 plus 9 is
yeah. Why did 13. we have to schedule Georgia State? What was wrong with the Ohio State, UT Martin, Oklahoma State? Yeah, though these are our 3 games.
Oh, well, playing Oklahoma State makes it too hard.
Yeah, like that is what I fundamentally disagree with.
I agree.
I'm sorry, but
I'm with you there. Go ahead. I'm with you.
We see, we know Oklahoma State, they've got a good fan base, right? We know that they used to go down to the wire with Oklahoma all the time in Bedlam, and
they might upset Alabama, Theo.
Yeah, and that we're acting out of fear here. We're acting out of fear that, oh, no, we're not. We're Alabama. We're not going to be a top 12 team. What are we going to? All right, get out of here with that. If a loss to Oklahoma State is keeping the Alabama Crimson Tide out of a 12-team college football playoff, maybe you don't deserve to be in the playoff to begin with. You ever think about that? Get out of here with the we have to cancel matchups because we can't handle them because
what if it comes out? What if it comes out that hey, we're actually canceling UT Martin that year? we're canceling the FCS opponent.
You think? Well, yeah, the same program that canceled West Virginia for East Carolina.
Ugh.
That's still a joke that we're not going to Morgantown this year. I don't like this one bit. I think that the schedule, I think you have a phenomenal future schedule. And when I say phenomenal, like you've got big matchups, you've got a quantity of P4s, but like let's look at the schedule, right? Starting in 2031 when this Notre Dame series has ended. Because Ohio State and Notre Dame, both home and away, all 4 of those games in those 2 series could be losses.
Sure.
You should have no reason to lose on the road to Boston College. Georgia Tech, yeah, they're probably building up a nice little program there. They might be a legitimate power by then. But then you look at like 2032, the Arizona, USF, Minnesota. You should not be losing any of those games. You should not go to Arizona the next year and lose. You shouldn't. You're playing Virginia Tech on the road against James Franklin, and who knows what that program will look like by then. That should be an incredibly, exceedingly fun game.
Can we play it on Thursday night? Thursday night, Blacksburg, that would be a bad recipe for Alabama.
That would be. But
it'd be awesome. It'd be great for college football.
And then he certainly shouldn't that same year have to say, oh, man, I'm scared about bringing in Boston College. We better pay another school to come in their place. You should not have to cancel these future matches. And the college football playoff committee, for as much as I think they do a horrendous job sometimes, they did a good job this past year of showing that, yes, we're not going to punish teams for playing tough schedules. I was impressed with it. And by 2034, we'll probably have a 24 team playoff. The bigger the playoff gets, which the fact that we're even talking about it.
The bigger the playoff gets, the more you should be playing these games because
exactly.
If you beat said Power 4 team, then bam, that should move up my seeding.
Yeah. I hate the fact that we're going to 16. I would do just about anything to go back to a 14 playoff, man.
Oh, that'll never happen.
It'll never happen.
They're going to move you into 24.
24 will be the number.
Yeah.
24 will be the number by 2035. It's absurd.
And when it's 24, then there's no reason to not play a lot of these games on the schedule. But instead, it's we'll take Western Carolina Tech University.
You know what? We were a little scared of being, of not making the top 24. So we've got to schedule nicely. It's a joke, man.
Well, it's a joke, but we still follow it, Theo. We're going to get out of here for the day unless you've got anything more for the people.
No, I've got nothing.
All right, we're getting out of here for the day. We will be in Coleman Coliseum at 8 o'clock tonight. We'll have NATO. It's a post-game press conference right there. We'll have Chris Jans as well. So make sure you check us out on the Bama Central YouTube channel after the game to watch all the coverage right there. We will talk to you tomorrow on the program. We'll have Hunter DeCiver, birthday boy. Happy birthday, Hunter. Talking about his Amari Allen piece and getting a recap on Alabama's game against Mississippi State. Win, lose, or draw. We'll see how many minutes LeBaron Philon plays tonight, and we'll get you ready for the back half of the week right here on the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com.